I remember the day the drum spoke. It was during the dry season, when the earth cracked under our feet and the river shrunk to a thin, dusty trickle. The air smelled of heat and wood smoke, and the marketplace hummed with voices, women bargaining over cassava, children darting between stalls, and men huddled under the baobab tree discussing village matters. That morning, everyone in Ojoa village was talking about the missing gold bracelet of Chief Adise's wife, Mama Olamide. It was no ordinary bracelet. It had been passed down from her grandmother, crafted from gold so pure that it glowed like the setting sun. She had worn it the evening before at the village gathering, and by sunrise, it was gone. The chief was furious. "This is an insult to my household," he declared, his voice booming through the square. "Whoever has taken my wife's bracelet will face the ancestors' wrath."
We all knew what this meant. In our village, there was one way to settle matters when the truth was uncertain: the drum of Ogunnal. It was an ancient talking drum, believed to hold the wisdom of our ancestors. It sat in the shrine of the old drummer, Baba Ikena, who was the only one allowed to beat it during trials. When struck, the drum would reveal the truth through its rhythm. If you were innocent, it played a gentle melody. If you were guilty, its sound was sharp and broken, like footsteps on cracked ground. That morning, the chief's guards searched every hut, overturning sleeping mats, emptying cooking pots. They found nothing. Then, just as people started whispering that maybe the bracelet had been lost rather than stolen, the chief's son, Obafemi, stepped forward. "I saw Abeni near the chief's compound last night," he said. A hush fell over the crowd. Abeni was a quiet girl, no older than 16, who lived with her grandmother, Mama Ikit. She was known for her kindness, always helping at the river, carrying water for the elders. But she was also poor. The moment Obafemi spoke, all eyes turned to Abeni. She stood at the edge of the crowd, her dark eyes wide with shock. "I did nothing," she said softly. But suspicion spread quickly, like dry grass catching fire. "Let the drum decide," someone called. The chief nodded. "Bring the drum." 2 young men carried the sacred drum into the square, placing it before Baba Ikena. He was an old man with a back curved like a bow, his hands dark and calloused from years of drumming. He sighed heavily, then gestured for Abeni to step forward. "My child," he said, "place your hand on the drum and swear your innocence." Abeni swallowed hard and placed her trembling hand on the drum's worn hide. "I did not take the bracelet," she said. Baba Ikena raised his hands and struck the drum. The sound that came out was soft, steady, like rain on banana leaves. Abeni closed her eyes in relief. The drum had spoken, she was innocent. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The chief's face darkened. "Then where's the bracelet?" Baba Ikena turned to Obafemi. "You accused her. Now you must take the drum test." Obafemi hesitated. Sweat glistened on his brow. His voice wavered. "I only said what I saw." "The drum does not punish the honest," Baba Ikena said. The chief nodded sharply, and Obafemi had no choice but to step forward. He placed his hand on the drum. "I did not lie," he said. Baba Ikena struck the drum. This time, the sound was harsh, uneven, like tree branches snapping in a storm. The villagers gasped. "The drum has spoken," someone cried. Obafemi's face turned pale. He stepped back, shaking his head. It's wrong. The drum is wrong." Baba Ikena turned to him. His voice was quiet but firm. "The drum is never wrong." The chief stared at his son, suspicion darkening his features. "Obafemi," he said, his voice slow and measured. "Tell the truth." Silence hung heavy in the air. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, Obafemi admitted, "I took it." A wave of murmurs spread through the crowd. The chief closed his eyes, shame crossing his face. "I only wanted to borrow it," Obafemi stammered. "I meant to return it before anyone noticed." The villagers shook their heads. Stealing from one's own people, especially from the chief's household, was a great shame. Baba Ikena sighed. "You were ready to let an innocent girl be punished for your mistake." Obafemi's head dropped. He turned to Abeni. "I am sorry," he said. The chief, though disappointed, was a just man. "You will return the bracelet," he told his son. "And you will work in Mama Ikit's farm for the next season, so you understand the value of honesty." Obafemi nodded, unable to argue. Abeni and her grandmother were given gifts from the chief, bags of maize and a goat, as a way to right the wrong. From that day, no one in the village doubted the drum's power. And though the dry season eventually gave way to rain, we never forgot the day the drum told the truth.